Yeah.
So you think I'd be all set?
All right, welcome everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call the Sherwood City Council regular meeting to order, August 15th, 2023 at 7 o'clock, or actually 6:59, very close. Anyway, so could we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Roll call, Sylvia.
Mayor Rosner,
Here?
Council President Mays,
Here.
Councilor Browse, Councilor Young. Here. Councilor Scott is absent. Councilor Giles.
Here.
Councilor Stankey.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Approval of the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Thank you, council. All right, on our consent agenda tonight, we have 4 items. We have item A, approval of the August 1st, 2023 City Council meeting minutes. Item B, resolution 2023-064, reappointing Winnie Palmer to the Sherwood Cultural Arts Commission. Item C, resolution 2023-065, reappointing Nancy Taylor to the Sherwood Budget Committee. And item D, resolution 2023-066, declaring the need to acquire real property interest to construct and thereafter operate and maintain Southwest Ice Age Drive through the Tonquin Employment Area.
I move consent.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda passes. Thank you again, council. Citizen comments. Sylvia, do we have any citizen comments tonight? All right. Do we have anybody online? Do we have anyone in the audience tonight that would like to give public comment tonight? All right, I guess not. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to presentations. So it's that time of year where we get to recognize our high school students for their academic achievement here in Newburgh. We have wonderful school
We're in
systems.
Sherwood. We're not in Newburgh.
So for the record,
The place is full and you guys are making him nervous.
for the record, I did go to Newburgh High School, so it's kind of ingrained in my brain. But no, in the wonderful city of Sherwood, we have, yeah, you guys are gonna kill
Okay
me.
to kick him when you
Yeah. No, but no, we have a wonderful
That's a
school system
gaff.
here. You want to keep going? No, we have a wonderful school district. We have a wonderful school system here in Sherwood, and we have wonderful students and wonderful parents who really support their students, and I think that's a big reason. We have a huge stack of certificates over there for everyone who got a 4.0 GPA this year.
Woohoo!
Yes, so give yourself a hand. So every year we like to celebrate all of our students in Sherwood who achieved this goal. It's a big one, and we're going to do that tonight. And Sylvia, you look like you wanted to say something.
Mayor, I just wanted to add, there were 235 students total that had maintained a 4.0 GPA through the entire school year. So that was the roster that we received from the district. So just as a matter of process for tonight, the city manager does have the certificates for all the students that RSVP'd. In case there's someone that did not RSVP, we do have all the certificates, so we can pull them out if we need be as we go through that process.
Awesome. Thank you, Sylvia. Are we ready?
So, how do you want to do it, Mayor? This is your
I
first
think
year doing it.
So the way this is going to work is Keith is going to, our city manager, Keith Campbell, we call him K2 because not to confuse him with this Keith right here, but he'll announce your name and you'll come up and we'll hand you your certificate. You'll have a quick photo op, if you'd like a photo op. With the mayor. And then we'll call the next person. So we'll go ahead and get going.
Yeah. So it's my distinct pleasure and honor to do this. So the first student I'd like to recognize is Nix Adair. Claire Baldridge. Isaac Gaba.
Yeah, turn around, pause, they're proud. Awesome.
Alexander Gallinger Long.
Okay.
Working too, on the bottom.
Deviana Gear. Samir Hammond.
Like you can go back to the one that was not here yet. I'll let him get.
We'll give him. Grace Hoffman. Kaylor Kennedy. Hanjil Kim.
Awesome.
Hayden Constantine. Shruti Paskakar. Freya Raybold. Dominic Weckerly. All right. Matthew Wyron. Alexander Gallinger Long. Was there anyone that is here that we didn't call their name? Okay, I think we're done. Thank you. Congratulations, everyone.
Good job. Great job to everyone. Outstanding. Good job, Mayor.
Yep.
And do they need to stay? Can they leave? Or
Well, so you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. It's, for us, it's very exciting. Oh, do we have a?
There's refreshments outside.
Oh, yeah. There's refreshments and cookies outside, so feel free to take part in all that, but don't feel like you need to stay for the rest of the meeting, so.
Although they're exciting.
Congratulations, everybody.
Bye.
That was easy.
Eric knows how to clear a room.
Awesome.
And
All right.
we have another group or they're potentially,
On the September 5th meeting, we'll do the remainder of the students.
awesome.
And then,
All right.
We have one take the bite.
Yes, awesome.
and then Eric, prior to your staff report, I have to do the reading.
Yeah, Sylvia, if you could read us in.
The Sherwood City Council will hold a public hearing this evening to receive testimony on ordinance 2023-008, amending the transportation system plan to include the Highway 99W pedestrian bridge as a project. The public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. Staff will present a staff report. Questions, if any, by the City Council for staff. We will then receive any written testimony. We will then open the public hearing for testimony, and the time will be limited to 4 minutes per person. Any interested person may present testimony. We will then close the public hearing, and no other comments will be heard from the public. Final comments by staff. Questions of staff, if any, by the council, followed by council discussion. This is the first hearing before the City Council on this item. Generally, the council will hold 2 hearings prior to making a decision. A second hearing on this item is currently scheduled for September the 5th. However, in accordance with the city charter, council reserves the right to make a decision at the close of this hearing by a unanimous vote of all sitting council members. If you wish to speak, please complete a request to speak form and submit it to the city recorder prior to the time the public hearing is open for testimony. The mayor will recognize people who wish to speak, and any comments must be addressed through the mayor. When you come forward, please state your name and place of residence for the record, as this hearing will be recorded.
All right, thank you, Sylvia. Eric?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Rosen, our city councilors. Happy to present tonight on the TSP update for the Highway 99 pedestrian bridge. The city of Sherwood is the applicant, of course. This is a proposal to add the Highway 99 pedestrian bridge to the TSP as a project. Type 5 legislative action. Just want to address the timing. To be frank, we're a little late on this. It would have been great to do this even a year ago or so. The reason for the delay, we had a transportation system plan update, a much larger project planned for 2024. So we were planning just to include this as part of that larger update. With CFEC, there will be, we talked about parking, there's going to be a lot of other transportation planning updates. And so it didn't make sense for us to update the TSP this year. We need to wait for some rulemaking from DLCD, and then we'll do the TSP update. But that left out this, and so we need to just go through this process independently. So that's the reason for the delay. Sent notice to agencies, public notice as required by the code. We received one public comment from ODOT basically saying we've been working closely with the city, mainly the engineering department, KPFF on the design, and they basically had no comment. No public testimony received on the proposal. There are applicable approval criteria. It's here, some in the development code, some in the comp plan, and then metro and statewide planning goals. Detailed staff report that addresses all of that. And again, no public comments received. So all of you are very familiar with this project, so I'll be really brief on the details. But basically, this is proposal to connect the YMCA property with the school district, Sherwood High School, school district property. The goal is to provide a safe crossing of Highway 99. Here are a few renderings that KPFF has put together. I believe these are the latest and greatest, but of course the design continues. So a continuous span from the YMCA property all the way into the high school property. Just a few other renderings which you have seen before. The chosen color is white just barely by popular demand. Another rendering there. This is just the detail on the actual update to the TSP. We'll add the project to Table 1, Fundable Transportation System Plan, Figure 12, pedestrian projects. And then as our sort of cost estimates change throughout the entire document, when we add this project, we'll make sure it's consistent throughout. The Planning Commission has reviewed the application. They've recommended unanimous approval, subject to their findings in the July 25th, 2023 Planning Commission recommendation. Staff had a staff report. They just had one very, very minor change to that, probably not even worth mentioning, just one small update and then unanimous approval. And with that, your alternatives are to approve the application based on the findings in the PC recommendation, approve the application with revised findings and or conditions, or deny the application with revised findings. And that concludes the staff presentation.
All right, thank you, Erica. What is going on tonight? Eric.
Thank you, Mayor Mays.
Medication.
Yeah.
Mayor Mays, good job.
Touche. I'm impressed. Wow. Gotta keep it light. Any questions for staff? Looks like there's no questions for staff. So we can go ahead and open up the public hearing.
We need to have some drug testing for the mayor.
There we go. So does the applicant want to speak?
We are the applicant.
I know, I'm giving him a hard time. Do we have any public comment tonight? Or public hearing? Awesome. And anybody in the room? No, I guess we'll close the public hearing then. And we'll move on to council discussion.
I'm ready to, I have no questions. I'm supportive of it, but we're not voting today.
It's first reading.
The Planning Commission, when this was discussed, there was many comments that we didn't really, well, I guess that to my knowledge didn't address during the planning portion of the bridge. And I don't know if what to bring up at this point that we can actually change. Because this isn't about the design of the bridge at this point. In the Planning Commission, they weren't maybe as involved with that as the City Council was. And so they brought up some things that we, didn't, I guess, address, especially with Sherwood West potentially being an option now, even a secondary to the south side from crossing to Elwert. Like there's no, you have to go across 1,000 feet all the way north to then walk back. And so people are still going to cross on that south side was one of the concerns. But that doesn't have anything to do with this hearing. So I don't know how to address some of those.
Yeah, so I think, what's in front of you tonight is a TSP update. And so during the Planning Commission hearing, we welcomed basically any feedback that they had, just because, like Councilor Stankey mentioned, we didn't take this to the bridge at large to a work session or something like that to really get very specific feedback from the Planning Commission. So in order to not just tell them, hey, sorry, your comment isn't relevant to the approval criteria, we said, sure, we'll accept the any comments that you guys have very generally on the bridge. Yes. So in the staff memo for this item tonight, there's a summary of the Planning Commission comments. I didn't want to include it in the presentation because it wasn't relevant to the approval criteria. But I think it's just really just for your guys' knowledge. I think they raised some valid points. My kind of takeaway of the Planning Commission feedback was, frankly, that everything would be really expensive, and it's already an expensive project, and so, I think we can take a look at it and consider them. But given the budget and what those items would take, I don't know how feasible they are. But I think it's good, maybe long-term planning if we're making changes down the road. If we get additional money, just as an example, if you weren't able to read the memo. Things like the approach on the YMCA side of Sunset, that sidewalk is a pretty standard sidewalk, 5 feet wide. And one of the comments was, hey, it'd be great to widen that to 12 feet and really get a really nice pedestrian pathway for the bridge approach. Just one example. Another example was, like Councilor Stankey mentioned, because the bridge is so long, it goes right into the high school. They're saying, hey, if Sherwood West is going to expand, maybe we don't want it to just serve the high school. Do we want another staircase down near Elwert somewhere? But all of those, actually physical changes going to be expensive, and so we made that very clear. But we didn't want to say, sorry, we don't want to accept your feedback, and so we accepted it. It's in the staff memo as for staff report for tonight for consideration. And I think it's kind of just up to you guys as the decision makers on the bridge, and giving Public Works a heads up, as they work on the design as well.
So with that, I saw some of those comments, and let's say in 10 years that area is built out or whatever. I mean, it's a possibility that we can adjust this bridge at that time, right? And add a staircase or add a ramp or something like that, right?
Sure. Some of the comments I think you could consider them now. It's great to hear the comments now, right, to not preclude that potentially in the future. Another example was, are there going to be like safety call boxes on the bridge? And, you know, if we want to if we're already doing conduit, maybe we want to leave space for, you know, telephone conduit or whatever it might be.
It is only one on, one off once you're in the middle of it. There's no other way to get off of it. It's 1,000 feet long.
There's a stairwell at the corner by the Y, right?
Mhm. Yeah, there'd be two. There technically three, I think, ways to get up and down, but one on each side, or two on one side and one on the other.
That's pretty standard bridge behavior, right? You know,
Yeah.
and on each side.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I think, you know, the Planning Commission has the you know, advantage of kind of seeing a finished product and being able to pick at it a little bit, and say, hey, you know, they really weren't involved in the decision making of getting it all the way to the high school, for example, and the really good reasons behind that. You know, now they just see a long bridge, and there's some downsides to that, perhaps, or that they were seeing. So, again, nothing that relates to the TSP update for tonight, but I think just in getting through the final design of the bridge, if it's not too late, you might want to look at that and see if there's any feedback that you guys want to incorporate. Another example was dark sky compliant, you know, lots of lights, which they were supportive of, but one of the commissioners is in the biology world, and he said, hey, what about dark sky and wildlife and things like that? So, yeah, so I think just really FYI, I don't know if you guys want to discuss it. It's really not, you know, we made sure that anything that was relevant to the TSP update actually got included, and I think we're on very solid ground there, but I think really just general background for you guys.
I think they made some very valid points for us to consider for future, possibly, or look at it, you know, make sure nothing could be added to the final design at this point, like maybe the room for the extra conduit or something that wouldn't be, you know, total, but below the budget.
So we specifically asked about all safety factors for the bridge, including cameras and alarm boxes and all that stuff to be part of the project, or to be reviewed as part of the project.
Craig, would you
So-
like to give us some current information?
So we're finishing up the security portion of it. We have it down to about 22 cameras on that bridge. Is at the final design for the security portion will probably come around the first week in September because it was a later start. Emergency call box, we discussed that. Talked with the chief. Felt that there'd be more problems with an emergency call box on that bridge versus cameras, as well as people having cell phones. So a lot more calls to the bridge with kids messing around with it. It's not like being on a college campus or something. So that was removed. The stairwell on the school district side, that was talked about during the project, and they wanted ramps down both sides of how it comes down. So those things were talked about throughout the whole design of the project. If anything needed to be added at this time, it's going to cause delay in going out to bid in a couple weeks. Right. So just so you guys know that. We're really shooting to get the security stuff done by the first week in September to issue an addendum after it goes out to bid.
Yeah, I remember the conversation on the call boxes. We did have that during one of our work sessions.
So that may be a good thing. Maybe I can get with Craig and I can get responses to, as we just had Jason Water, city engineer, at the Planning Commission hearing. So maybe I can get with Craig, get some responses, and just close the loop with Planning Commission. I think might be a good way to address that.
That'd be great.
Any other comments?
yeah, scope creep is something that has killed a lot of projects, and so we got to remember the main goal of this is to get those kids safely to school. And at some point, if Sherwood grows up and Sherwood West grows up and we get all that revenue from the new businesses, we may look at it and adjust it and everything else. But for right now, you know, that's the main goal. And so if we can do that.
Well, I'd be careful because we definitely said that the bridge, the main goal wasn't solely because of the high school. It was really to connect the two sides over 99 for the eventual growth also. So it wasn't solely just for to get the students to.
Right, but that's everything I've heard about Sherwood West is a 10-year timeline, right?
But I think the point is when you're investing tens of millions of dollars in a bridge, you have to have a 20-year, 30-year horizon that you look at. So.
But we don't need to solve all problems.
No, I don't think anyone's saying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what we're saying is One of the
It's not a high
reasons,
school bridge.
one of the reasons, obviously, we want to get our kids to school, and we want to be safe. That's kind of what started the whole project. But we also know that Sherwood West is going to build out, so having the bridge land on that side services that side, that future build out as well. So, and we can adjust in the future.
Yeah. And I'm excited, thrilled to hear just that initial feedback of kind of where you're looking with the cameras. And then when we, put little tiny signs or whatever signs that say, hey, as you're approaching, smile, you're on candid camera the entire time while you're on the bridge, that is a beautiful deterrent from lots of things. Yep. Appreciate it, Craig.
How the what?
Bids. Well,
Yeah.
and not to, and to your point, delay is costly.
Right.
And staff probably
What do
gets,
you call that? Scope creep?
Scope creep is what it's
Scope
called in
creep.
software.
I like that.
Yeah.
well, and I'm sure staff has heard me say this a million times, but if you do the math with construction inflation, every month we delay is about $70,000 in costs. So
Yeah.
we need to get started.
I just have one more question. On slide 9 of this, it was a rendering of the bridge with the screens or the fences that are going to be on the side. And during the Planning Commission, the person who was here to speak to the Planning Commission spoke about it being similar to the Earl Blumenthal Bridge that just went up over 84. And those screens are 10 feet high, where these ones are just, looks like 3 to 4 feet high. Do you know what the actual design is called for? Thank you, Craig.
I don't have that with me tonight, but I'd be more than happy to look at the set of plans and get it. It is at there's a requirement that they have to be
Okay.
at, and then it's meeting that requirement. It's not any higher than that.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but if I can shoot Keith an email tomorrow or something, and he can get it to you what the height of that fence is.
When I was looking at the Earl Blumenthal one, the fences were like over 10 feet high, so much higher than what the renderings are showing here. And so I just wanted to double check that we're seeing what we're actually going to see when the bridge is done.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
ODOT, I'm sure, is very opinionated about the size of the fencing on bridges over their facilities.
Right.
They are.
Yes. Any other questions or comments for staff? It sounds like there's consensus that the memo we got from the Planning Commission is more for a phase 2 look at things, and there's no reason to direct staff to do anything different than we're doing right now up until our next
Or
meeting.
it's already, or
So,
some points are flat already been addressed.
sounds like we all agree with that. All right. Thank you. So we will hold this over to the next meeting for our second reading, and I think I already closed the public hearing, so we're good to go. Thank you, everybody. All right, city manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of quick things tonight. Movies in the park, we had our first one last Friday. Minions Rise of Gru. My daughter had a wonderful time with her friends. So just a reminder, weather's going to cool down after Thursday, so this Friday should be a beautiful night to go see Super Mario Brothers. And there's a performance by Dottie beforehand. So 8 o'clock at Stella Olson for Movies in the Park. In 2006, I had an opportunity to spend several weeks in Greensboro, Kansas, after an F5 tornado leveled the community. So I just wanted to acknowledge everyone in Maui dealing with the wildfires and seeing the devastation there, and just my thoughts, prayers, and hope that they can recover quickly from that devastation. I know what it's like for a community. I know what it's like for people impacted, and just thoughts for all of those who lost their lives during that, and hope that we can have a quick and speedy recovery. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Keith? All right, we will move on to council announcements. Who would like to go first tonight?
I'll go.
Excellent.
So I attended the library committee meeting. We are continuing to work on the policy. We're also working with getting a foundation set up with the grant money that was given a few weeks or a month ago or so, and a new website for that. And we also, I see signs everywhere as well. If you are going through the heat this week, you can come into the library and ask Counselor Browse if it is chilly enough in here. It is cold enough in here, so you can come here, just sit and read and enjoy the air conditioning. And then there's also, I would encourage you to check the website. There's fix-it fairs coming up where you can learn how to fix small appliances or different things that are broken around your house. There's story times always going on and things like that. And so please take advantage of the programming. That's all for me.
Thank you, Taylor. Kim?
Tomorrow night, or no, what day of the week it is? Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday night is Police Advisory Committee, so I'll give an update at the next meeting. Last Monday, I attended the Region 1 Area Commission on Transportation meeting that I was recently appointed to by the Washington County Mayor Coordinating Committee. And we had an interesting conversation. We had the chair of the, I'm reading this because I got to get it right, the Oregon Transportation Commission and another commissioner there, just having a good conversation on how the different regions, so we're Region 1, I'm not exactly sure how many regions there are, and we're advisory, but that the advice or the conversations that we have about transportation aren't in silos and that they're working statewide, and how we can better partner with the commission on that. So I'm new to this commission, so I'm just sort of getting up to speed and seeing what they're all about. So hopefully I'll bring better updates in the future.
Heck yeah. Well, earlier, thank you, Mayor. We are interviewing some great applicants for openings on the Cultural Arts Board later this week. I had the pleasure of attending the Mayor's Conference in Hood River this last weekend, even though I'm not the mayor anymore, but I was the president of OMA 11 years ago, and you're a lifetime member once you do that, so.
Your grandfather,
I would not say that. I'm a lifetime member. Whatever, Mayor. Mayor Mays. So anyways, the president of OMA this year is our North Plains neighbor, Mayor Terry Lehan. She did a great job along with OMA staff and the hosts of Hood River. It was very well attended, beautiful weather, not as windy as you might expect this time of year, which was nice. Had some great sessions learning about a lot of topics. I was able to sub for Mayor Rosner, try to substitute in his place, leading a session on broadband, which was excellent. Everyone missed you, Tim. Like I said, I tried to substitute for you, but yeah, a lot of great sessions. The impact of laws, the courts on cities that people aren't aware of, and this council is because we're well informed. But yeah, very well attended. Had a nice time, and got WACA, our 911 board executive committee meeting tomorrow. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Renee.
I'm reading my email from the Water Consortium. There are some new tools out there for water preparedness and other related resources. They've updated the languages and all the different handouts. It's actually pretty fascinating to be the stuff that they've put together to be conscious of if there's an emergency in light of what's happening in Maui. It's really good timing. So you can find those resources on regionalh2o.org. And like I said, they're really interesting. They're very well put together. The Senior Advisory Board did not meet. We will meet in September. And our principal conversation will be around senior age-friendly city. And so that's coming up. HAC, the Housing Advisory Committee, meets next week. And I think that's really it at this point in time.
Awesome. Thank you, Renee. Dan.
I just wanted to say thank you to staff and the volunteers for the Music on the Green this year. It was very fun for our family to go to, and it was great seeing a lot of the community there as well. The Planning Commission met last week for a work session dealing with the food carts that we sent back to them, and they really appreciated the pictures as examples to kind of craft our ordinance or code to kind of mimic what we're wanting with those. So that was very helpful. And they had some great input for staff to try to figure out how to make it what we are wanting. It seemed like staff understood what the council wanted from that, and as well as the commissioners by the end of it as well. So it was really good. We should get something in the next couple of weeks here for that.
Yeah, go for it.
Is it possible that staff and planning and council could take a road trip to see some of the different food carts that are out there or food courts that are out there? I was at an event Saturday, and one of the planning commissioners from Wood Village, and they have a really nice one there. And that's one of the things they did is they visited together to find the things that work really well and the things that don't work as they're putting together the plans. Just an idea.
That's, I think if there's food involved, I mean, so.
There's some really cool ones out there. Anyway.
Yeah, resounding yes. If you guys are interested in that, we can set up a tour. Yeah, I mean, probably hit maybe 2 different ones that we're going for, and get your kind of detailed feedback. I think it really does help being in person and saying, oh, that's not what we want. That even that little detail that you see in person, you can communicate that with us, and we can get it out
I
of
see
code.
our city attorney over there, so I'm sure he's going to comment about just making sure we don't violate public meeting law on that.
Well, you can
Agree.
you can notice the meeting.
You can notice the meeting, yeah.
Can we just make sure it's arranged around Keith's vacation schedule so he'll be able to be there?
His vacation schedule is fluid.
Do not worry about my attendance. It's all good.
I would love to see what other communities are doing.
There's some really cool ones out there. Anyway, just a suggestion.
Okay, awesome,
Sorry.
thank you. No, that was great.
I think
That was a great
the
ask.
19th of September would be a great day.
No. That's the day before I go to
It's not happening in September, but you two are here.
All right. So I just have a couple things tonight. Earlier this week on Monday, we had the Washington County Coordinating Committee meeting. And I want to use this moment as just a chance to thank staff. Eric, Bruce, Keith, and the team and the planning department. Let me step back a second. When we think about land use and land supply, we really have to be thinking 5, 10, 15, 20 years. The work we do today to make sure we have industrial land and housing land. The land that we have coming in, we're using now, was planned 20 years ago. So we have been, with the urban growth report coming out from Metro, we've been doing a lot of work. Staff has been doing an amazing job meeting with different organizations, GPI, WA, and just most recently the WCCC, to talk about the need for being strategic in how we look at industrial land and housing land, and also aspirational, and not just talk about where we think it's going, but talking about what do we need to do in the region to make sure that we can attract the type of jobs that we need in our region, not just today, but tomorrow. So your team's doing a wonderful job. Really appreciate it. And lots of good feedback coming from the mayors in Washington County and the work you guys are doing on that. So I really appreciate that. And I'm hoping to get you guys in front of MPAC. I'm working on that right now. So, yes.
Just reminded me of one thing. I meant to say this. Bruce Coleman and his young bride are celebrating their anniversary tonight. So he wanted to be here tonight, but I told him it was probably good for him to go. And
did you have to order him to go?
So I did want to wish him and his bride a very happy anniversary. So happy for him and
Probably like their 5th or 6th anniversary.
yeah, somewhere in that range.
The rest of the WCCC meeting was updates from the transportation, and there was quite a conversation about tolling, which I'm sure was a conversation in your meeting with the Region 1 TAC. The governor put a pause on that for 2 years, but there's still a lot of planning going on. We have had some wins. They've changed their criteria when they look at diversion, where in the context of tolling, if you put tolling in place, cars divert to other roads. And the original plan is they were only looking at roads within, I a mile of the planned toll route. Now they're going to look at that regionally, which is a big victory for all of us if we're going to have to face tolling down the road. Of course, there is an initiative petition that would make it very difficult to do tolling. It has a good chance of passing, so this may all become mute in 2024, but we'll see. And then I wanted to thank Keith. I was planning on being at the OMA. Last week I learned.
We had a meeting scheduled to talk about a couple things. You ditched me.
I ditched you. I learned, I had to look up kidney stone and figure out what that was, because that's what I was dealing with during all that. But I really appreciate Keith stepping up at the OMA and moderating that panel. That was appreciated, and I got a lot of good feedback. Everyone said you did a good job.
They lied. I bribed them.
Even Terry said you did a good job. So anyways, so I just wanted to thank you for that. And that's all I got for tonight. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, then I'm going to adjourn the city council meeting, and we're going to jump right into our urban renewal meeting, which I will call to order Tuesday, August 15th, 2023 at, what time do we got up there? At 7:42. Roll call.
Board Member Rosner?
Here?
Excuse me, Chair Rosner.
Still here.
Thank you. Board Member Mays?
Here.
Board Member Browse?
Here.
Board Member Young?
Here.
Board Member Scott is absent. Board Member Giles?
Here.
And Board Member Stankey?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. We have two items on the consent agenda tonight. A, approval of the July 18th, 2023 URA board meeting minutes, and B, URA Resolution 2023-010, authorizing acceptance of a special Public Works Fund grant from Business Oregon for the Dalkey Corridor Development Readiness Study.
Move consent.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you, council. And
I have a topic for the good of the order. I'm kidding.
I have one.
Oh, no. I apologize for
kidding.
bringing.
I'm kidding. All right, that's it for tonight. I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
A bunch of jokers up here.
Thanks for staying.
Yeah.